Hey guys, hopefully you're having a great day. My name is Derek Schwinn. For those of you I don't have the pleasure of knowing, I'm a real estate professional here in the Marysville, Ohio area, and today I'm going to give you a housing update for the local area and some insights onto some bigger numbers that might be valuable and making some sort of consideration on whether or not you're looking to buy or sell a house. I do video work on the side, so I've got some cool equipment here that I've got for some other client projects on the video side of my business. So I thought I'd integrate the two and try to get a little more creative in how I'm presenting this information to you compared to what I've done in the past. So we like to talk about competition, pricing, affordability index, days on market, mortgage rates, if I haven't said that already, new construction, market segments, regional differences, kind of neighborhood to neighborhood comparison on a few neighborhoods in the area, economic indicators, and finally wrapping up, what's it mean to you in a real world scenario? Because I don't know about you, I'm not going to pretend to be a master in economics or what the employment rate means for the price of the house that you might buy. But we're still going to talk about some of those data points and maybe help kind of understand where things are at, where things might go, and how it might impact your life. So I like to stay up to date with some folks in different parts of the area that do similar market updates as I do. This guy does a whole lot more than I do, but had a little bit of interesting insight and something to say. So I thought we might start with that as to kind of a prediction of where things might be going.
Take them while they last. They don't always last, right? I'm sure there will be a new record in the future. We know that it's up into the right chart. But take this for what it is. We might start to see the flattening in the short term. Monthly new residential sales would suggest a flattening of prices.
So we're going to take a look at our numbers and see what you might think might be happening with our numbers. So first, we're going to look at this graph that talks about new listings, pending listings, current market or current listings on the market. Well, not current, it's for last month. This data is for last month. But anyway, we're going to go through that information. So you're looking at what I'm looking at right here. My numbers are more of a current as of May 28th, but these are for April numbers. So relatively the same, but still going to give us a guideline of kind of where things are at. So relatively the same here. So new listings, roughly 52 new listings in the month of April, 40 average for the month of April at any given time. 37 houses sold, 53 were pending. So you can kind of see this trend here. It's a seasonal chart, just like usual. It's going to kind of go up and down as the weather goes up and down. Probably the biggest thing is that inventory went up 400% year over year. So last year we had a lot less inventory. Just like that gentleman just said, the more inventory we have, the more that should kind of help prices plateau, especially if you're a buyer and getting a better deal, or at least having a shot at buying something as usual. So overall, new listings, current listings, pending listings, and sold listings are all month to month going up. And year over year. The actual sold is a lot lower. I can flash this on here. If you see here, it shows that the sold homes are up single digits and the new listings is up 26%. Number of listings 400%. So for price, somebody suggested once I include median sales price and asking price. So I'm going to include that. That should help give some more perspective. Again, I'm not a mathematician. I can understand numbers, but I'm not smart enough to know all of the numbers. But anyway, average asking price $460,000. Average sold price $334,000. Median asking price $439,000. Median sold $317,000. So either way, a bit of a discrepancy there between the two. Year over year, those are going down a little bit, unfortunately. So what does that mean? Who knows? All right, one of my favorite weird ones that I don't really fully understand because I don't think it represents everything across the board, but it's just kind of an interesting one to look at. Price per square foot, 181 is the number I have here. I think on here it's 178 for last month, so currently 181. So again, to kind of sum those numbers up, all in all, we're having more stuff come on the market, more sit on the market. Okay, so let's try that again. The average days on market for April were 27, which is up 170% year over year, or sorry, month over month, 8% year over year. So spring market definitely kicking in. with these numbers for April. Okay, so overall, average days on market currently is at 13, which is up 18.2% since last year. So again, more inventory, more time on market. So we're going to switch to Mortgage News Daily. I don't know if you can see this little number here, but Mortgage News Daily is my favorite place for just kind of a general look at what interest rates currently are. As of now, right now, this is current 7.16%. And this is May 28th that I'm recording this. For a 30-year fixed rate, 6.7 for a 15-year. So again, if you compare the long-term average, we're still lower than the long-term average, but definitely far from the 3%. So like you, I missed the great rate. I was just shy of making it worthwhile to refinance. Okay, next we are going to look at the affordability index, and here's where we're getting into the numbers that I'm not going to pretend to be an expert on economics and what all these things mean for your situation, but we're going to address them. Affordability index. Okay, so probably the most important part of this is down here where it says value of 100 means that a family with the median income has exactly enough income to qualify for a mortgage of a medium price house. An index above 100 signifies that families earning the median income, the median income has more than enough income to qualify for a mortgage loan on a medium price house. Assuming a 20% down payment, the index is calculated for fixed mortgages. So there you go. So that means that if you're over 100, that means that the price of a house is lower than the median income, or that the median income is over the median price of a house. Seems like it's simple calculation. So hopefully that helps you understand it. If I muddied the waters, I apologize. Okay, so I had to redo some stuff and take a look. This is month by month, so I wanted to do some math. And let's go through and figure out how many single-family homes were built year-to-date last year versus this year. So 168 for January, February, March, and April of 23. Let's go to 24. Well, there you go. 168 even for January, February, March, and April last year and this year. So it looks like the distribution is just a little heavier in late spring in 23 and more even this year. So guess not much change there. Slow and steady wins the race. Helps if I look at the information correctly. Okay, let's start back over with the luxury market. I like to look at the luxury market and the affordable range and just kind of see what the differences are. So in the last 12 months, we had 20 listings sell that were over $600,000 with an average sales price of $745,000. The average list price to sales price ratio was 98%. So on average, they closed 2% lower than what they were asking for at the time they went into contract. It took on average 93 days for them to go into contract. They were on average 3,177 square feet, quite large. And that came out to be an average of $278 a square foot. There are 3 of them on the market right now. If you want to take a look at any of them, happy to help. Let's take a look at under $300,000. So vastly different numbers here. 158 houses sold in the last 12 months under $300,000. They averaged $223,000 and some change. They on average sold for 2% over asking price, which shows the demand that allows for a more expensive closing price than the listing was asking for. On average, it took 42 days for those listings to go into contract and move towards the closing table. On average, it was $176 a square foot. Again, one of my favorite numbers. I don't know why. But on average right now, of the houses that are under $300,000, there are 4 of them, $263,675 a square foot. No, not a square foot. But anyway, so there's a couple houses out there that are in that affordable range. 6 of them are 6 are in contract, 2 are pending. So tight market as usual. But there's a few houses there and a few houses in the more expensive price point. So happy to help you with either. Okay, now we're going to get into some of the fancy numbers. What I do know about these numbers here, the Consumer Price Index, is if you've heard much about the Fed talking about interest rates and what's going to happen and all of that, they were looking for this to be not what it was here in the last couple months. So I don't think these numbers are terrible, but apparently not as good as they were hoping. So the rate decreases they were shooting for aren't going to happen like they said 6 months ago or so. So the higher rates for longer, it sounds like, is where we are at. So it sounds like we might be at the low 7% interest rate here for the long term, but consult Mortgage News Daily or your local lender that I'd be happy to hook you up with. Okay, next on to employment and unemployment. We had just under 8,000 gross jobs created. And this is third quarter of 23. This is just what came up on Labor and Statistics. Looks like about 6,000 of those were from establishments that were expanding. 1,500 or 1,700 were establishments opening. So that's kind of interesting. Looks like, unfortunately, we had just a few more job losses than there were job creations, losses at contracting establishments. So they were getting smaller, and then a few, here we go. 1,577,000 at places that were closing, unfortunately. Okay, then the always interesting unemployment rate as a whole, according to AI of Google, on May 17th, national unemployment rate in the U.S. was 3.9, which is a 0.5% point higher than April of 2023. So Google can help you out understanding a little bit more of that. Again, I am not an expert, but I can help ramble through it with you. Okay, so then if we go to some neighborhood insights, these I always like to talk about. So here I'll highlight them here. Hopefully that'll make it a little more easy to see what I'm looking at. But in comparing Mill Valley, Green Pasture, Scott Farms, Adena Point, and the Uptown area, which is all the old houses in the middle of town, basically. Here's what we have as of yesterday when I pulled these numbers. 2 active listings in Mill Valley, 2 in Green Pastures, none in Scott Farms, 2 in Adena Point, and 7 in the Uptown. In the last 12 months, 87 sold in Mill Valley, 24 in Green Pastures, 6 in Scott Farms. Adena Point had 50, and the Uptown had 73. So in terms of getting into a neighborhood, these are how many opportunities on average you're going to have to get into these neighborhoods if this is where you want to be. On average, we have $340,000 asking price for Mill Valley, $337,000 for Green Pastures. I'm not sure why Scott Farms is blank. Adena Point is much higher at $567,000 average, and the Uptown was $375,000, which was interesting because on the sold side of things, Uptown was $244,000. Adena Point was $486,000. Scott Farms was $378,000. Green Pastures was $362,000. And Mill Valley was $366,000. So these numbers can help you kind of understand how likely is it to get into a neighborhood, what kind of turnover is there, what's the price point at each of these neighborhoods, the amenities they offer, and all of those things. The other thing I didn't mention is, in terms of competition into getting into a home, Mill Valley is the quickest at 43 days average on market, 47 for Green Pastures, 36. Oh, I'm sorry, Scott Farms was 36. Adena Point was 84, and the Uptown was 48. So Adena Point, obviously with a higher asking price, as usual, is going to be a longer time on market. The more affordable Uptown at $244 average closed value, or average closed dollars is going to be at 48, so lower. But again, Scott Farms, being that there's such low turnover, there's nothing available as of yesterday, and 6 sold in the last year, which is surprising. We find that that's more competitive to get into there, so people are more sought after that area. So, and last but not least, what does all this mean to you as a homeowner or a future homeowner or a hopeful homeowner? At the end of the day, there's the current situation in the housing market, everything that's going on in that, all of these numbers that may or may not mean anything to you. And then there's your situation. When's a good time for you to buy? That's the most important thing. So if you're here to buy or sell or get some information on that, the most important thing to me is it a good time for you, your family, whoever might be involved in the decision-making process or who might be impacted by a move? And there's all kind of factors that go into that. That's my job as a real estate professional, is to hopefully help you love where you live by getting into something, getting out of something, but really understanding as much as you need to make a good decision, or have a trusted professional that can help you get there. So at the end of the day, that's my goal. And if there's anything I can do for you, I am here to help chat through those needs or desires and figure out what might work for you. And yeah, hopefully I can help you out. And if not, you can just take a look at these market updates or any of the other content I have on here. Like, subscribe, do all the things. And until then, take care.